Ever wonder how the Earth floats in space? Here's a neat LED lamp that captures that phenomenon. This is the magnetic levitation globe. By using magnetic forces, the globe is able to stay suspended in space just like Earth. To attach, place the globe close to the lamp until it locks into the magnetic forces. Let go and see the wonder of this device. Here's another angle to show you how the magic happens. Notice how even if a piece of paper was to pass through the space, the magnetic suspension is strong enough to lock the globe in place. See why this is rated one of our best gadgets for the office and impress others with this novel design and device. Get it from gearbest.com before it's too late.
The eTech City LaserGrip 774 infrared thermometer is a compact device you can use to measure extreme temperatures. This essential tool can help you diagnose problems at home with hassle-free setup, live temperature readings, and laser-guided accuracy. To set up the LaserGrip, simply install the battery, aim the device, and press the trigger to scan the desired object. No calibration required. Keep holding the trigger to view continuous measurements and find live temperature differences between objects. If you're measuring a reflective surface, place masking tape on the surface and wait about half an hour to measure the taped area. After each measurement, your results will automatically be held on a backlit display for 15 seconds. The LaserGrip 774 is equipped for accuracy. The built-in laser pointer allows you to take full advantage of its 12:1 distance-to-spot ratio. This handy device also gives you the option of switching between temperature units, as well as turning off the laser pointer and the LCD backlight. Now you're ready to diagnose any issue at home with your new LaserGrip thermometer. If you need a more specialized thermometer, be sure to check out our other LaserGrip models with features like temperature filtering, adjustable emissivity, and voltage measurement.
Hello, my name is Mike, and we're here in the kitchen today to talk to you about No-Cry cut-resistant gloves. Now, these gloves are level 5 cut resistant. It's actually 4 times stronger than that of leather. Now, you want to remember that while these gloves can handle cutting like this, or even holding the blade like that, you still really want to avoid any sort of puncturing like that, or cutting down on the fingers like this, because they're meant for really preventing any sort of mistakes. Now, I want to show you how to cut like a pro, and luckily for you, No-Cry cut resistant gloves will help prevent any sort of rookie mistakes. Before we get started doing any cutting, you first want to make sure you have a nice, stable cutting board. Wobbly cutting boards can result in your knife slipping and injuries happening. To avoid that, you want to place a wet towel underneath the cutting board to help keep it stable. In addition, you really want to make sure the blade of your knife is as sharp as it can be. Because you may not know this, but the sharper a blade is, the safer it is. A sharp blade will cut easily into a food, while a dull blade will tend to jump around, and it's very easy for it to accidentally cut you. And this is why it's so important to have full control over your tools. Now, let's talk about how to properly grip your knife. If you put your finger on top of the knife, or you hold it too far back on the handle, you'll have a dainty grip, and then you'll really need to use No-Cry cut-resistant gloves, as you're almost asking for injury. Instead, you should put your finger and thumb at the very back of the knife and wrap your other fingers around the handle. That way, you will have a firm grip and total control over your knife. It might feel a bit weird at first, but in time, it will seem like an extension of your hand. Now, the most common mistake that happens while chopping is laying your fingers out flat. Like this, you might not yet cut yourself when you have No-Cry gloves on, but if you press hard enough, you might just cause some injury. Instead, you want to form a claw so that your fingers go in and the knife hits up against your knuckles as you're chopping. In this manner, your fingertips are protected the whole time and also gives you control over your cuts. Now, let me show you something I'm sure you've all struggled with. The elusive onion. Now, we here at No-Cry shed no tears when cutting onions. Let me show you our secret. First, cut the onion in half through the root end and peel the outer layers. Put the onion down flat, make a claw shape with your hand, and make a few incisions horizontally into the onion. Turn it, but make sure the root is still holding everything together. Then, with your hands still in a claw position, make a few more cuts vertically. Then, turn it back and use your knuckles as a guide as you start chopping along. Just chop in a wave motion. And voila, you have a nice and even dice. When your food doesn't need to be cut into exact even pieces, just rest the tip of your knife on the cutting board and support it with your claw hand. And with your claw hand, continue chopping in a wave motion. And even when using a grater to create carrot shavings, the No Cry cut-resistant gloves work perfectly to protect your hands. The gloves also help protect you when filleting fish. So, you cut behind the head all the way down to the bone, and just on one side of the spine, make a very small incision, all the way down to the end. Let your knife do the work. You don't need to apply a lot of pressure if you have a sharp knife. Don't worry if it slips, that's the reason you're wearing gloves. It should just pull itself away like so. Is that simple or what? And then afterwards, just pull out the small bones with tweezers. Then, when you're all finished, you want to wash your knife by hand, dry it straight away to prevent any chance it gets dull. Never want to use a dishwasher. But the good news is, you can throw your gloves straight into a washing machine, making sure they're ready the next time around.
Okay, so according to the manual, there's a preset code of 159. Entering that works fine. Open it up. But what we're supposed to do is reset the code after we get it. So according to the manual, what we do is we push the reset button on the back, which I'm doing now. There's a 2 beeps. Put in our code, our new code. So let's say it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Press the pound button to confirm. It does in fact confirm. And then to test it out. So I'll go ahead and lock it. Now here's the thing. I can put in that code, again, 1, 2, 3, 4 pound. That works, that's fine, right? But then the moment I do it a second time, right? So we lock it again. Now I do it a second time with the same code, 1, 2, 3, 4 pound. It locks me out. I can't do it. But check this out. I can do the preset code, 159 pound. So what happens is it's resetting to factory settings again after the second iteration of the, after opening again the second time. So need to return this and see if I can get another unit.
If you're just now getting into streaming TV, then you need to know about the Roku Express. At just about $30, this tiny little thing is one of the best ways to get into streaming TV, even if you have a smart TV, but especially if you have an older TV. Here's the box, and here's what comes in it. You get the Roku device itself, a remote control, and this does come with 2 AAA batteries. There's a very short HDMI cable here, but that's not a problem. We'll discuss that later. Then there's a USB cable with an optional USB adapter. You can either plug this into your TV directly or into wall power. And then there's a little quick start guide and an adhesive strip so that you can stick the Roku to your TV. There's also another version of this called the Roku Express Plus, and that means that you get this little adapter cable which allows you to connect it to older televisions with that yellow RCA input. Here's the back of the device, and true to Roku style, it's very simple. You have the USB port for power, HDMI port to go to your television, or like I said, if you have an older TV, you'll plug your adapter cable right in here. What you'll notice though is that there's no Ethernet port, so this is a Wi-Fi only device. You'll want to make sure that you have really good access to your Wi-Fi access point. This is the Roku home screen. When you first plug it in, it'll take you through a very easy setup guide, and ultimately it's going to take you here to a list of streaming channels. You could call these apps, but Roku likes to call them channels because it lines them up very much like you might have on a TV guide. Select all the apps that you want to add, go back to the home screen, and then you can reorder them any way you like. I like to keep Netflix and Hulu up on top because I use them most often. For even faster app access, Roku puts 4 popular services right on the remote: Netflix, Sling, Vudu, and Amazon. Another thing you're going to want to know about is the Roku app for your smartphone. This is one of the best remote apps I've ever used. We'll pick our Roku Express here, which it automatically detects on our network, and now I can control that Roku right from my phone. Not only can I select apps, but I can also see what's on right now. Just use the standard remote, or even better, I can do search both with text and with voice. The Roku will also stream audio from the TV to the phone so I can listen to it with my headphones. Now, you might be asking yourself, if I already have a smart TV, what do I need a Roku for? Well, simply put, it's because Roku is better in a lot of ways. It has the most modern version of almost all apps, but more importantly, it offers killer search. It'll actually search across all apps to find the content you want to watch and tell you exactly how much it's going to cost. For instance, here I've searched for Star Trek Beyond. I click on that and it gives me all my options and exactly how much it's going to cost. Now, the Roku Express is not without its faults. It doesn't support 4K Ultra HD resolution. It doesn't have an Ethernet port, so you're reliant on Wi-Fi. And there's a little bit of input lag, so when I press a button, it doesn't react right away. But for $30, it's still an outstanding value and the best deal for somebody just getting into streaming TV.